Everybody, welcome back to Brokerage Today live stream. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some of the new algo trading systems that are out there, and we're going to be going live in the markets. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. We're going to get started. So first, we're going to take a look at the price of Bitcoin. All right, so we're establishing our daily bias. As you can see here, we've got some of the bearish order blocks right up above here. This is over on the 4-hour chart. And then we have the bullish order blocks down below looking at 110, 111. So there's a lot of room here for price to come back down. And we've been in a consolidating range right between 115,000 and 116,000 as well. All right, so let's drill down to the lower time frame here on the 5-minute. You can see we're in a clear range between the 1 hour and the 4-hour time frames, looking pretty strong. If you guys don't have this plotted on your chart automatically, a lot of people use an orb strategy. You might want to look at this indicator right here. So this indicator is actually free. It's called previous highs and lows. I would definitely check that one out. It's just a great way to plot all those key levels really quickly. All right, so today we're going to be looking at some trading setups that pretty much print every single day, but you probably don't know about. You got to have the signals and the tools that to be able to identify them. So let's take a look at these. So I just want to show you guys this exact setup gets printed every single day. And if you get good at looking for it, you could take advantage of it as well. Look at this long signal that gets set up right here. This is in what's called a discount zone. And the take profit ran all the way right up here to this level. I'll measure that out, guys. This was just literally about 1.282%. If you have a 20x leverage, that's about almost 40% in just 5 hours. So I know a lot of you guys also like to look for those reversals. I know trading reversals is really fun. It's also usually very satisfying, but it's much harder to be profitable. So guys, this strategy, this signal gets printed every single day. And if you get good at looking for it, you can make a ton of money, right? So just look at this signal right here that takes place right before the drop. And here you could see that price ran all the way down here. This bar alone was about 0.5% in 5 minutes, and the full move is still going, but it's about 2% over just 2 hours. Now, your trade duration is a huge factor in how profitable you're going to be, especially when you're scalping. As you guys can see right here, this exact setup gets printed every single day. And you get really good at it if you take the time to just understand where's the discount level, where are your order blocks. All you have to do is follow some simple steps, reach out to us, go comment algos, and we'll send you the link. But basically, you get these on your chart and you see where is the volume of trades happening. All right, so we're going to come back to this, but this is a great example of how these get printed every single day. And you can see we have more orders coming in here, more signals just flowing right in here. So let's take a look. All right, guys, so this exact setup gets printed every single day. Look at this short trigger right here. And in live time, we're able to see where the premium zone is and what is the actual win rate on these signals. So right here, we have a sensitivity of 16. We have to have 52% win rate. So we're back testing in live time. And now we're seeing it jump right into that premium zone. And so that's probably a really good setup. All right, just a disclaimer, guys, here. Do not take a trade on anything that we have here. This is for educational purposes only. So always do your own due diligence before listening to some random guy on the internet and, make sure you speak with a professional. Now, that being said, this just printed what's called a liquidity grab. This liquidity grab gets printed every single day. And if you just pay attention to this, this is a really great indicator for where the big buyers are stepping in. They just grabbed all the liquidity out here, and there's a pretty good chance we're going to go back down the other way. Okay, so here's how you spot the liquidity grab. You're going to need the Lux Algo price action concepts indicator added to this and to your chart. And what you're going to do is check in the settings. Yes, guys, you have to actually adjust your settings to see these things. You're going to check off liquidity grabs, and you can choose that, make them blue and red. Sometimes you can even make them gold if you want to make sure you're catching them, and red over here, maybe red and blue. That's fine. Now you're going to see on the chart with the Lux Algo price action concepts, you can actually see that liquidity grab happening right here. So that's how you spot it. Once you've identified the liquidity grab, you want to know, okay, is there any type of resistance above, right? So here we see a premium zone or maybe a bearish order block or some correlation with Bitcoin, but there's got to be some other points of confluence that you can actually use. Once that's formed, wait for a retest back into the zone before you take the trade. You can actually take it right at the beginning, but ideally, you want to get something as close to that higher point as you can before it moves back down. And you know that big money stepping in when you see the liquidity grab and there's order blocks there because there was previous volume at that price level, and it's proven it's not just orders or order block trade, what's it called, or order book orders, right? They're not just empty orders. These are actual executions that were made. All right, so you want to place your entry here. This is kind of depending on when you entered, right around here. Let's say 398. Now you want to place your stop above that premium zone, but you also don't want a huge stop, right? So you want to maybe do about 0.5%. In this case, we'll do 1% to get it just above that zone. And we're going to target a 3-to-1 RR. So what you want to do is set your stop loss above the recent high or the liquidity grab that was made, and then set your take profit either at the bottom where you can see there's some fair value gaps below, or a 2-to-1 if you want to fix risk to reward. In this case, we're going to go all the way to the bottom of the zone and look for a 3-to-1 RR, and then your trade is set up. This really works because you're working with the institutional money flow that's out there and where the large players are stepping in. And so you're a lot less likely to get stopped out, or you can adjust your stop accordingly. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so as you can see here, guys, this was a huge volume spike, which is another indicator of a reversal. This is just more confluence that as we were saying, the big players are stepping in. So that gives us a little confidence to maybe move our stop just a bit. You want to move it to maybe 1.5. That's fine. Um, it depends on how you're set up. We're just kind of showing it to you guys here. But there's a lot of volume. That's a huge volume spike. So pretty good chance we're going to get the turn that we're looking for. We may even go more than 3R. Hey, how's it going? If you guys want, you can chat me on the stream. If you guys have any questions about algos, happy to answer them. So let's see how this trade plays out. We're just talking about this liquidity grab right here, and you can see some resistance from up above here. So you have a lot of confluence. You have a lot of evidence of this turning down to the downside. We got the signal. So let's see how this plays out. All right. So the other thing that jumps out to me about this is we have two wicks. This is what you would consider the retest here. So that's also another good point of entry if it wicks down. If it doesn't and it breaks structure again, you probably have a lot of momentum to the other side. There's another tool that's pretty crazy for Lux Algo, which is Lux Algo has this trend strength tool. Now you have either you're going to be in a trending direction or a ranging direction. So if you're looking for reversals, you probably want to be in the ranging. Right now we're looking at trending 96%, so it's really likely it's going to keep going. But we did get this signal. It's about a 52% win rate on this one, and that's in live time. So that should be pretty interesting. So let's see if we got this one right here. Especially because the last couple were not right. So if it's 52%, we have a pretty good chance here. All right, so this strategy has a 52% win rate. Obviously, if we go to other names, you're going to see the same strategy might have a higher win rate. So we may look at that, but I just want to watch this one play out, or we may check back in on this one to see if we get stopped. But still, if you have a 52% win rate and you end up losing, but you have a high risk to reward, then it kind of balances out, right? You have a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk to reward. You only need a 30% win rate at that point. So you have to balance it. It depends on the names, it depends on time, depends on duration. So you want to look at all these factors as well. So let's see if this stops here because we've had a couple minutes here with pretty much no movement. Gonna take a look at the bids on my phone real quick. Here we go. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Looks like we're going to get that push to the downside that we're looking for, actually. So there's a couple other things that you can look at when you're not sure, right? And if you guys have questions, just let me know. You can drop them in the chat. But we have this indicator called the correlation coefficient, right? And you can make this correlation go to pretty much anything. We're going to do this for BTC. So we're going to see how highly correlated is this current asset with that one. So here it's negatively correlated by negative 0.21. So a high correlation would be 1, very negative correlation would be -1. So it's not very correlated at all. And we can look at what BTC is doing in the moment. BTC is pushing to the upside, but it's still sitting within this range. It's completely ranging. So unless BTC is really ripping to the upside, then everything will carry with it. So the odds for a reversal are not bad, right? Okay, let's see if we get that push to the downside. There's a lot. Now, there are other things you can do. Let's say when there are some opportunities here. Let's see if we can. Price is moving down. Right now, the last price was showing at about 460. So 247. Let's say do that. Now look at that. You got that price. Look at that drop right there. That's pretty good. That's actually excellent. And it's probably going to go down more. Yep. Look at that. Look at that drop right there. That's huge. There it goes. Okay, that's a huge drop. We're going to have to just exit out on this one no matter what. That's huge. Yep. And that's another liquidity grab right there. But that worked. That's pretty much a perfect setup right there. Does not get better than that, guys. So this was a pretty high win rate for us. 52% win rate is really strong if you have a 3-to-1 risk to reward, and if you know how to look for the liquidity grabs that are happening in the market. So this trading strategy has a very high win rate. Looking for liquidity grabs, using the signals, live time back testing. If you guys are interested in stuff like this, comment algos down below and I'll send you the PDF. All right, guys, we're going to sign off for the day. If you guys have any questions, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.